Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big HuffPost Show welcome to Mr. Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, yeah! He's creeping in. Right over here.
Sir,
Professor, how are you doing?
Good, thank you, sir. Right over here.
Thank you, thank you.
Dan Aykroyd. All right.
Well, thank you so much. It's great to be here. What's wonderful is the commitment of this team here on the HuffPost Show. Did you know the guys live in the building here?
Yeah, yeah.
And some of the audience, too, I think, in residence. But
Right there, yeah.
Yeah. But I looked at your apartment. It's habitable, and you haven't left, apparently, since the show started, 24/7. That's really admirable.
Is that why you brought us groceries?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
What do we have
What do you
here?
have there?
Well, it's the head.
Oh. He's giving us some head.
We never say that in our advertising.
Sorry,
we do
Mr.
not use that.
Don't use that.
No.
You said it. You could have said skull, but you said head.
Well, skull, yeah. So, anyway, we've got to treat it with respect. It's like fire. It's like a Ducati motorcycle or a fast car or a firearm. You have to be very careful. This is not something that you take home and drink alone. You do this with 10 people, and you put it in cocktails and enjoy it. It's our Crystal Head vodka, and more of that
For the
later.
non-initiated, we'll be sharing that with the audience?
Yes.
Yeah,
of
Why don't you
course.
share it with us?
Sure, I'll leave that right
We'll
there.
leave it there.
Yes.
Now,
So that's there's no additives in that vodka. That's why we're in 50 countries and have sold over 6.5 million bottles. No glyceride, no sugar, no limonene, and it's basically a clean base for cocktails.
That's pretty
We're
neat.
very
What
proud
made
of
you do vodka? I'm just going to move this over here.
Well, I found out the things that they put in a lot of lesser expensive vodkas. They add glyceride, which is a cousin to antifreeze.
Yeah.
They also add limonene, which is like a citric acid cleanser, and they also add sugar. So I thought, well, I want to do something. I've always wanted to do something better in whatever I've done in my career, and I just thought I could clean this up and do something better in the vodka world. And we won the Prodexpo in Moscow.
Someone bring me a cup. Bring me a cup, somebody.
does it go down smooth? How does it stack up to King of Russia?
Bring me a cup, somebody.
We'll get it.
We'll get it.
Let's have an ice. Bring me if you have some ice.
We'll get some.
I don't know who drinks warm vodka.
In the meantime, I hate. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Stage Manager.
Anyway, our notes from the tasting panel are a sweet vanilla, dry, crisp with a kick of heat off the finish.
Oh,
and
wow.
we don't mask the alcohol, and so groceries you can call it. And there it is. Yeah, you'll taste. You'll get a little fire there, and you'll get our sweet peaches.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah,
I was preparing for this to be disgusting. Over at HuffPost Live, I've had other guests come on, celebrity vodkas.
Yeah.
They usually taste like rubbing alcohol or cat urine. This.
Were you saying Dennis Rodman?
I wasn't going to say yes. Okay,
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman's vodka was disgusting.
It tastes horrible. Oh, look, for everybody.
Yes.
We can just be completely shit-faced for the whole show. Fantastic. Yeah.
Well, now that's
It'll be funny.
Okay, give me just a thing.
We must respect the head.
Okay,
respect the head.
Again with the head.
But the Russians voted us out of 400 beverages best taste, and
That's for him.
And we can share.
That's
You can share.
There we go.
I'll take like just the.
And you'll note if a lot of vodkas, if you open them up, they smell like Chanel No. 5. We do smell like alcohol because we don't mask it. But your taste profile, there's no over viscosity. Strovia.
Yeah.
There's no over viscosity. And now we're drinking.
God, do you know
warm.
everything about vodka? Did you become were you like an alcohol person before this, or did you bone
I
up?
was more a Canadian beer guy, That's
Right.
I was weaned on that, and so. But I just started to research what was in it and thought I can clean it up and do better, and people like the cleaned up taste. Sweet, vanilla, dry, crisp with a kick of heat off the.
And the
finish.
heat is coming right down. I'm feeling it. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's getting right down.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we're drinking it warm. I like it cold.
I hate to get off the vodka and get on to mundane stuff like your career and life and everything.
Move on.
This has been a.
You asked me.
Yeah,
So.
I did. No, I'm thrilled about that. We've had a lot of transition in late night television this year, right? David Letterman retiring, Stephen Colbert, rest in peace, going away. Great show, great show. Jon Stewart now leaving. But 40 years on, SNL is still going strong. Lorne Michaels is still ruling the roost. Is he just going to die with his boots on?
He's going to stay there for as long as he can, I think. Yeah, and he should, because there's no one in the world that picks talent better, that works with writers and actors, and gets fledgling producers to begin to do their work and then go on to great careers. Sandler, Wig, Farrell, Bonnie and Betty, Turner, Bonnie and Terry Turner,
everybody.
So many people, So I mean, there's no. I don't know of any institution in entertainment in the world that's like that.
Yeah.
That's endured so long.
That's why I enjoyed watching the anniversary special, you know, and seeing everybody come back together and seeing all the great energy. I was hoping Eddie Murphy was going to do something there.
I wanted to rip into that audience. You know how good he is, man.
Yeah.
You know, he could have just gone crazy on wigs and looks and glasses and, you know, the changes of appearances and how, you know, everybody was all kind of all equal, looking the same there in the tuxes, and, you know, none of us different. And, you know, I thought it was kind of an opportunity for him to really rip into it, but he went another way. You know.
Why do you think he did? I understood the part of it was the Cosby thing, right?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. It's just he's so good at riffing, and he's just one of the great monologists. And you know, that was if that was a crowd ripe for poking.
Now, but you know what?
Myself in there.
SNL has traditionally been a source of tremendous movie characters, roles, actors. Ghostbusters, one of the classics.
Yes.
Yeah. So we know now.
Here's the Herald. Here's the Herald.
Yeah, Harold Ramis, everybody. Yeah.
The Herald. Yes.
That's right.
Fantastic, Harold Ramis. Yeah.
Prosit.
Now, a lot of talk this year about this all-female cast that's going to be doing it. Paul Feig is directing it with Melissa McCarthy and some Saturday Night Live greats. Kristen Wiig,
Leslie Jones.
Leslie Jones. So, but then there's another
There's like 10 other Ghostbusters movies coming out.
There's another one with Channing Tatum.
Well,
how many do we need? What's the story?
We need as many as the artists want to produce with the concept. I mean, it's kind of like the Marvel series. You know, there's opportunities here to do different types of stories. Now, the voices of the female Ghostbusters are wonderful. This guy has done a great job of making them their own and also touching very subtly back to the first two movies. Kind of in a way that they don't exist, but they do exist. The writing's very skillful, and look at that powerhouse cast. And I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, this movie connect with a whole new generation of young women who don't know Ghostbusters, and also to a whole new generation that are going to go back, look at the first two movies, and see and enjoy it. Now we have grandkids of the original viewers who are giving the toys out and giving the screenings to their young kids and grandkids, and I just want to connect to a whole new cadre of female Ghostbusters.
There were some people on the internet though who were going nuts. Did you guys hear this? There are people on the internet who were saying this is going to ruin my childhood. Ghostbusters are supposed to be boys. They're supposed to be men. I don't want to see 3 women do it. Did you hear any of that?
Well, that's a little gender bias that's completely out of place in our world today. I mean,
yes.
I mean, come on.
Yes. I agree.
I do hope though that the girls, that they don't always wear the jumpsuits, because I do the signings for the bottle. I go to places that sell the beverages, like Bevmo here and Stater Brothers and Walgreens and Costco. You know, I go and many other of our partners, and I sign the bottle, and many female Ghostbusters show up with their husbands and their who are all in Ghost, and they have mini skirts sometimes, and you know what? They look good in the mini skirt.
Yeah.
It looks good. It's,
no bias there. It's just flat out good.
It's a cool look instead of that, So I'm hoping that one of them will go for that kind of look.
Now, can we just go in a different direction? Because I said if I ever meet Dan Aykroyd, I'm going to ask him about this. You believe in UFOs?
Well,
is that right?
I do. I've seen 4. And, I can't say that they're alien craft, and neither can the Air Force. The Air Force has been very interested in this. They don't deny the existence of these hyperdynamic, super aerodynamic craft. They don't deny. Their anguish comes in that they can't tell you. They want to tell you everything but that they're extraterrestrial. Any excuse at all, even if they're unknown or unsolved. But the Air Force cannot just come out and admit that there are extraterrestrial beings far in advance of our culture that have built these machines. Bruce Maccabee has a book out right now. It's called The UFO-CIA Connection. Or the UFO FBI-CIA Connection. You can get it on Amazon. Bruce Maccabee is a former consultant for the Department of Surface Naval Warfare, for the division in the Navy there that covers surface naval warfare. He's a physicist. I mean, this is not some flake, and he has gone and taken meticulous research and gotten everything basically since the 40s that the Air Force, the CIA, the FBI have written about it. And they're very interested in knowing what's going on, but they, like us, they don't know.
Have they asked you about the 4 you saw?
I didn't discuss with Bruce that, but they were definitely, there was one, 2 specifically were definite aerial constructs of some kind with one of them with a light and one of them dull. gray, and they were structures, and one of them going very slow, one of them hovering over me, and then there were the two that my wife and friends and I saw a high altitude sighting many years ago in Martha's Vineyard. Two flying side by side. They were about 100,000 feet up, and they were going fast. And I just had my driver the other day. I went to work there, you know, and I had a driver that got the driver to spare the knee and the ankle and the hip. And he said he was in the SAC command, and he was up in Newfoundland. And one night they were in the hole there where the guys would come in, and he was a cook down in there, and he would cook for the SAC crews, and they'd come in and change their shift. And one day they were all gathered around the radar screen, and this thing was going 70,000 miles an hour and doing whip turns like this.
Wow.
So yeah, no, I believe that like Lord, you know, the Lord Hill Norton said, that there's probably many species coming and going, and that the Air Force is very interested. They don't deny the existence, but they can't come out and say, you know, because then you're going to go, you know, wait a minute. The parish priest, the cop on the beat, the president, you don't got the power.
Right.
They've got the power.
They got the power.
Right up there.
The one with that black shit, the triangle, the delta, look at it, you know, I want to talk to them. And you'd have complete breakdown in society. The Brookings Institution in 1958 said as much. There was a study in that, and they said you can't divulge this. You can't make that this is real. So 50% believe, 50% don't believe. I happen to be a believer because I've witnessed 4 really unexplained crafts. So.
Yeah. Well, there's some applause out there. He agrees.
Maybe he saw something. Maybe.
Now, a couple years ago, Dan, in an interview with The Guardian, you said that you had been diagnosed with Aspergers.
Never diagnosed. I'm sort of a self-diagnosis. I've read a lot about it.
What was the tip-off to you? What that gave you?
It was Aspergers.
Well,
yeah. You like WebMD?
It's like, I guess more like, I guess a self-diagnosis. Yeah, you know, so read up on it. I'm the type that would probably do surgery on myself, you know. So, I don't know, just certain symptoms, I guess, you know, certain focuses, obsessions. And also, you know, vocalizations and stuff that I've seen in cases of Tourette's/Aspergers. And I'm thinking, you know, I think I've got a touch of that. And it was probably aggravated by a teacher that I had in grade 7. Who used to corporally punish me with a ruler and knuckles, and she was very mean.
Was she a nun?
No, ma'am. No, sir, she wasn't. No, she was just a teacher in the Catholic school system. She was just mean, and I think she set me off on a kind of a course of nervousness there that I'm still kind of struggling to kind of even out in my life.
Wow.
But you ascribed some of Ghostbusters was inspired by some of your obsessions?
Well, my family's always been into paranormal research. My great-grandfather was a dentist, and he was he was you know, he took medicine, so he was very interested. He was interested, as many were at the turn of the century. Crookes Lodge, Conan Doyle, Charles Richer. There were many people who were interested in you know, what is this phenomenon? What is maybe the survival of consciousness after death, where it seems that we can communicate with spirits? And so my dad's got a book out. It's called History of Ghosts. It's on Rodale Press. You can get it on Amazon, and it talks about the you know, the Aykroyd family interest in this. And my great-grandfather was kind of the reviewer in town of all the paranormal acts that rolled through town. There was a very strong interest in spiritualism at the turn of the century because people were looking, first of all, to contact the dead from World War I. They were looking at different religious options. And so you'd have come through town, you'd have a levitator would come through town, you'd have a medium, trance medium would come through town, you'd have the precipitated painters, the Campbell brothers, the Bang sisters. They would sit, there was a canvas here, and they would sit and wiggle their fingers like this, and an image would appear on the canvas like paint.
Wow.
Unexplained. And my great-grandfather sort of wrote the review as to, that's a hoax, I didn't believe that, or there's something genuine going on.
Like the Egert and Roper of
yeah,
ghosts.
That's right. Yeah, sure. Well, the best guy for the ghosts was Hans Holzer, was the guy who was the great ghost hunter, and he's got a book called Ghosts, and it has amazing stories in there. So, you know, I'm not alone in this. And the family interest was there. I sitting around the cottage. You
guys still do this?
Home. What's that?
You guys still into this stuff? Like, is Thanksgiving at your house like?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. Oh yeah, there's new stuff happening all the time.
Leave a couple extra seats for the visitors.
If we were to go back to the seances, I haven't done that for a while, but but likely, maybe sometime in the future. But around the cottage there, where we lived, in the summer, there were always, like, other cottages would have National Geographic and Life magazine lying around. We had the American Psychical Research Journals and Fate magazine and all, Wow. So the family's always been in. My dad's been in it, my grandfather, my great-grandfather. It's kind of the family business, if you want, really.
Well, now, another obsession of yours is law enforcement. I know that you, for many years, carried a badge around, and weren't you an auxiliary police officer in Louisiana for 15, 16
well,
years?
My grandfather on the other side of the family was a Royal Canadian Mounted Police Staff Sergeant, and I just, I think the real heroes in life are in our world are teachers, nurses, firefighters, the armed forces, and the police. And I got asked to join a reserve auxiliary advisory committee by Chief John Doyle in Harahan, Louisiana in 1994, and I served there until 2011 under two chiefs, mainly assisting with resources after Hurricane Katrina. We came in with supplies and make sure that there was police on the streets, maybe supplementing salaries and resources. So
you didn't shoot anybody?
No, I mean, I'm proficient with a firearm. I wish that there were more, I would say, training in the less lethal alternatives. There's a lot of.
So what do you make of what's this moment? Where we're having all this discussion?
America's flat out gun crazy. That's it, man. And,
I'll applaud that one.
Agreed.
And but of course, it's guns in the wrong hands. There are alternative. There's taser. There's a sound system that you can use to disable someone. There's a high frequency generator that you can use. There's a net that you can fire, and it completely closes over the top part of the body.
Yeah.
So why aren't we looking into?
Mark is familiar with all of those.
Yes.
He's,
all of those things have happened to me since I moved to LA.
Yeah, in the last.
But that's terrible.
No, but the reason I ask is because a week and a half ago, this guy, 73-year-old auxiliary officer, reaches for the taser, accidentally pulls out a gun and shoots somebody.
Well,
73-year-old officer. I don't know if you followed the story, but I mean, it seemed a little odd that someone that age would even be doing this.
Well, there's a lot of elderly people who have a lot to offer in every community, in every profession. So he had a pretty good record, that guy, it seems, and he was there a long time. But at a certain point, you just let the guy go. I mean, we up in Canada, usually chases are called off after once you get to 50 miles an hour up in a street there in Canada. You back off. You don't chase him anymore.
Yeah.
And that guy who ran away, let him go. His Mercedes is there. He's going to come back for that. Come on, just let him go. What? You shoot him in the back? It's terrible.
Got a broken window.
Well, he's going to come back get that Merc.
Yeah.
That was completely unnecessary.
Last question here.
But I served till 2011 at Harahan, and then the new chief came in, and he didn't like the idea of these executive sort of reserve guys, so he fired all 200 of us.
What? Really?
Oh, boo! Give a boo!
Boo, Chief.
Yes.
Joe Friday would not be happy with that. No.
No, you're damn right about that, buddy.
Yeah. We almost didn't have you as a comedian, though, right? Weren't you on a path to the priesthood? You went to seminary?
Well,
Father Dan?
I went to St. Pius X Minor Preparatory Seminary for Boys. I did go there. My first interview, my parents said, they said, look, Dan, we could send you to the public school system, but we think you would get a better education in the Catholic school system. So I agreed to go in for the interview, and I'm sitting there. My mom's here, my dad's there, Father Lunny is there, classic, Irish lilt from the west, from the Ottawa Valley, and the red hair. And he says, well, Dan, so you're considering the vocation. You'd like to look at the priesthood as a career path and a way to make a living and go on and serve God. And here was my answer. Yes.
Was it the poverty? Was it the vow of abstinence? What exactly was it?
Oh, it was more to please my parents and get in there. And you know what? I had a good education. I was there until grade 11 and met a great bunch of guys and some really inspiring instructors. And it was although they asked me to leave in grade 11, they said your son is not suitable for the priesthood, and we think we can move on. But it was a good education, quite full, stimulated a lot of interest in me in history and geography, science and stuff, and I liked my instructors. They were good guys.
We're thrilled that you chose to sort of take the path towards comedy. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Aykroyd. Thank you very much. Hey, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click here for more videos.
And make sure to catch new episodes Friday at 9 p.m. on HuffingtonPost.com.